fucking thing, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's,
If 100 people lived on
it's a thing. It is a thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Dan.
It's definitely.
Dan!
This is a moment. Did we get on the tape? Luke just finally passed through puberty.
What do you mean?
Don't hate me.
What do you mean? Ghetto superstar. Are we actually recording?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
recording.
this is alright, Sneezy McWilliams.
And that sneeze signals that the podcast has started.
Bless you. Could have got a bless you.
Bless yourself, mate.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Bless yourself before you wreck yourself.
Blessed be thy sneeze.
So tell us about 100 people living on Earth, Luke.
I'm Luke.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Gabe.
The liar.
Oh, you'll never know.
Gabriel.
No one ever.
And you're Daniel.
I think it's Gabrielle, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know. Is it
Are you
Gabrielle? Is it an
Danielle?
E or it's E?
Are you Danielle? If he's Gabrielle, are you Danielle?
No, because that's
I think
not
Then why are you lying?
The same rules apply.
Yeah, you
Mind
can't
blown
all
right
one
now.
rule for one rule for another. It's the one ring to rule them all.
I have no rights.
Dan is Sauron, Illuminati confirmed.
Luke's in fighting spirit.
Oh, the Lucanami.
Yeah.
Konami.
That's the name of all of our viewers.
What, Luke?
The Lucan Army.
Somehow we've got cut out of this trade deal, Dan.
No, that's
It's
just
not a trade deal. I bring nothing to this. They supply views. I'm not making it
View.
plural. I'm not making it plural.
Make it plural. Make it plural. Listeners, make it plural.
What you mean is, oh no, fair play, Sam and Dom, there you go, plural. Potentially Kirsten, hi, shout out to all the fans.
potentially.
When you give a potential shout out because you're not sure if they're committed.
At least I know our fans' names.
I
Fans in air quotations.
you know when you catch people in moments when they think no one's watching.
Yeah.
So I caught Kirsten earlier. She was like drinking the last of her drink, and she was just having a moment. She just holding a cup on her head like that, and she just looked over, and I was like, "You want me to get you another one?"
All the randos that may or may not watch this in the future don't know who Kirsten is, Dan, so why are you telling terrible stories? Gabe, what do you got this week?
Oh, the voice is still breaking.
Breaking free.
Breaking
Soaring, flying.
when you get cut off by song lyrics. Just podcast things. Oh, well. I was going to say, we could get Kirsten on one week.
Could do.
Yeah,
Meet the fan.
yeah. All those randos, I'd love to meet her.
Wow.
Shout out to the randos.
Luke, did you have a chocolate bar this week?
No, I didn't, I'm afraid.
Oh, I thought
It's still in my drawer.
I thought it was going to be a thing.
Got to hit up the tuck shop.
Did you go with Kinder in the end? Was it Bueno?
I don't know what I've got in the drawer.
Ooh, mystery.
I think I've got some Rolos.
Ooh.
You've got some Rolos in your drawer.
Yeah.
You didn't bring them in to share us out. What's that about?
So don't want to
Dan.
share them, Dan.
You're not
It's not a share bag.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Can you get
I'm
share
pretty-
bags
I'm
of
pretty-
Rolos?
I'm
I imagine
wasn't the-
you get a share bag of everything these
Wasn't
days.
the whole catch line of Rolo who you going to give your last Rolo to?
Yeah, alright, you can
Surely.
have the last one then. You
I'm just saying, sharing's caring.
Alright, if you like sharing's caring, I'll give you my last one, you can share it with Gabe. Oh, sharing's caring. Yeah,
Alright, I'll do
that's
that.
what I thought.
All that.
Coming over here with that attitude.
It's not like I asked for a bite your curly whirly. I mean, Jesus.
Do you want to
He
just
will do next.
back off?
He will do next.
I don't come over to you and step up asking all kinds of questions, do I?
Apparently
That told me.
Don't even step up asking any questions. Liz.
Ghetto superstar.
That is what you are. Right. So no
Good bit of
Rolos,
tea, though.
fair enough.
It's alright. Quality slurp.
Well, to be fair, the odds of me getting a Rolo.
If you were
I
a
thought
T,
pretty-
you'd be a
pretty
PG tit.
Boom. Wow. Wow.
You can't see it,
You
right?
know what? That's a niche joke, but you landed it.
There's a look of pure pride.
there's a small market for tea-related jokes, but you just nailed that one. Kirsten's in.
He's falling off his chair. This is an absolutely wild ride from start to finish.
Oh, good stuff. These chairs are
Why don't they use chimps in their adverts anymore? Is it just animal cruelty?
What adverts?
Do you not remember the
Oh,
old
PG
tips?
tips. No, there was a little cuddly toy.
They've got a little cuddly
No, they used to use real chimps in the adverts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do they do with the chimps? Just make them drink tea.
They
Don't you make them drink tea?
Well, yeah. This is like one of those things that most British people would know.
Yeah, alright.
This is,
Yeah,
I think it's just.
I
It's a pretty no-known thing. You always see that old. See? I
do remember that. God, that's crazy.
I'm just wondering what happens to the chimps after this.
They get sent to the moon.
Have you ever seen 28 Weeks Later? Or Days Later? Either of the two.
Are you
Or Planet of the Apes.
Are you suggesting that repeated consumption of PG tips turn them into like rage monsters?
Zombies.
Well,
I suppose it could
Like a
happen.
zombie.
watch out. You apparently are a PG tip.
Apparently so.
Yeah,
that's
so
so
you could be next. Animal rights activists could set you loose.
Is it? Wait a minute. Is PG tips the one with Johnny Vegas in now?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, I think so. And
I suppose they
now
just
they've got a
replaced-
little teddy thing in there. No, I see where you're going with that joke, Dan. What was that laugh of I've been found out?
Damn it!
Reminds me of Gilderoy
Could have just
Lockhart.
let me land that line.
Which weekly smile of the week?
Could have sat about in a nice
I
smug
didn't get rid of the
impression.
banshee by smiling at him, did I?
I've been planning that one all weekend, just in case you went down the tea route.
I remember when Gabe was going to talk about what he did.
Yeah, but this is so much fun. Tea insults.
What's the
insults.
most unlikely thing you think Gabe did this weekend?
The most unlikely.
Most unlikely
unlikely
thing you
thing.
think Gabe did this weekend?
Ooh.
Went to the shop and bought food. Something normal.
Sustained himself.
Did the washing up.
I mean, I did the washing up. I almost went out to buy milk.
When you say almost went out, you mean you half got dressed and stumbled towards the door, or
I looked at the door.
oh, okay, well that's not really half.
I was already dressed.
That's fair enough.
I'm dressed every day.
That's an achievement in your early 20s. Well,
Was that it? Was that your guesses?
well, I mean, if you've
I
already
thought we were making a thing of it.
what would the
Keep guessing.
you've already kind of determined that your entire weekend was pretty much spent in the bedroom.
No.
Doing washing up.
If you didn't get out of the house,
Well, one thing I did this weekend, washing up. Dan's immediate thought process, he was in the bedroom.
So you
washing
washed up in
No,
the
no.
bedroom contemplating buying milk.
up. That's how I killed the butler.
And killed a butler?
you had a butler.
I felt like that Monopoly joke may have just got a little bit alright.
No, I was playing. I got bored Saturday night.
It's not all about
as
you,
a tie-in.
It is now.
No, it is.
He's actually
It
going
is.
to talk about
It is now. So I got bored Saturday night and I was playing poker on like an internet site.
Full tilt.
Yeah, it was Full Tilt actually.
Full tilt's the good one. It's
Yeah.
like a bit of full tilt.
And to be fair, I haven't tried any of the others.
But you don't want to be on full tilt, or else you lose all your money.
Why?
You know what full tilt is, don't you?
Yeah, I know what they are. Yeah, I know what
Yeah, that's-
Full Tilt. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you don't want to be on full
I
tilt.
thought you were
or
trying to
else you lose all your
explain
money.
that somehow the website was rigged, which it obviously is.
I mean,
Just like something
are they
ladies
ever
and
not?
Yeah. No, so I did okay actually, but I was watching a video after about like likelihood chances of like playing blackjack. So how you spend, because I don't really play it very seriously. But
what you mean, like there are like certain moves you have to make in a given situation? If that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
So if you dealt like a 12 in your hand, you've got a 92% chance of not busting
Yeah.
on the next one, or if you dealt a 20, it's like a 4% chance of not busting. So
Well,
you're
they're
supposed-
all maths games.
Yeah, but I
Games.
never play it by maths. I always just bust or twist or whatever. Like twist.
You can tell you're a serious man.
Yeah, I was playing pontoon really.
Activated my trap card.
Yeah.
Twist.
No, but I was watching a video after they explained it, and it just auto played onto another one, and it was actually quite interesting. It was talking about the most improbable things that happen to you, and that's hence why I said about improbable things. And so there's some very improbable things out there.
What doing the dishes?
Playing blackjack.
Why? Like Kate getting out of the house. No, so
I am hurt.
okay. So what do you think the odds are of you being in a shark attack? You've probably heard this.
In his
Well,
bedroom, or
It could happen. Have you seen Sharknado?
Ooh.
Yeah.
What number are we on in the year 2030 of Sharknado? Big questions.
I think they're on like 7 or 8 now. So
By 2030, what you on?
60 something, 65.
They release that many a year.
Yeah,
In 12 years, they're going to release another 22.
probably. I don't know.
Absolute money-making
there'll
machine,
be a lot.
that series.
Yeah.
Well played.
Hopeful boy.
But
Shark
so
I think 0.
no, they're not. No, the odds are never 0.
Of me personally
Yeah.
getting attacked by a shark, I think 0.
Because you will never swim with sharks, is that what you're saying?
I just never get into areas where there are also sharks.
But what about like cage swimming with sharks?
I never do that.
No, but would you ever do it?
Yeah, that's the point.
Look, if we're talking about would I ever,
Then there's still a chance.
There's a 1 in something chance.
Exactly.
So what's the odds?
Or are we doing odds on?
No, we're not doing odds on. We're not saying go kill yourself to a shark. Like,
I'd be
kill
down.
yourself to a shark.
Or 300 to 1. 300
Get
to
into
1.
a cage,
Odds on.
float outside of it, just face to face with sharks. Like, end it, end it, end it,
You need
Bruce.
to kill to me.
So why is everyone here? You just want to swim with sharks? No, I want to kill myself to a shark.
Then he'll love me.
The odds are wrong. It's
So-
just not in my favour.
So no, it's the reason it's quite interesting. So the odds of being in a shark attack are like 1 in 3.7 million. 1 in 3.7
Did
million.
you learn that from Shark Week?
I didn't learn that from Shark Week.
Shark
I've never,
Week has recently been.
I'm sure it has. I'm sure it comes around pretty often. But there are a lot of like, okay, say you go to a party. Look at it this way: you go to a party with 30 people.
Oh wow.
What are the odds that one of those people has the same birthday as you?
I don't know.
1 in 12.
Cool.
But it seems quite improbable if you go to a party with 30 people. You've probably been to a party with 30 people.
I like the way you look at me when you say that.
I did think about it.
He heard
Yes.
that. Wow.
I have been to a party with 30 people.
So the odds are 1 in 12 that one of those people's probably got a birthday that shares with you.
That is muy interesante.
It's not, well, you'd think it'd be much more. And then,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, you think it'd be wider odds.
yeah, you'd think it'd be like
You know,
hundreds or thousands.
Well, if there's 30 people, like 1 in 36-ish, maybe.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
but
that?
it's not intuitive, is it? You think of it as being much bigger odd than it actually is.
Yeah.
But then the same applies to a lot of other things. So you can talk about loads of probabilities, like lightning strikes, like 1 in 100,000.
What do you mean? Do you mean kind of like the thing where it's like if you flip a coin 1,000 times, the likelihood of getting like heads and tails, or like tails and all of them is still 50%?
No, it's not.
Oh, is it not that one? I'm saying that wrong.
That is probably a one, but yeah, you're saying that a little bit wrong. But the odds of it getting on the same on everyone aren't 1 in like 50%.
It's something like that. There's something to do with you can flip a coin like 1,000 times, and something that you think would be outrageous is like still 50%.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's this is what I was going. The point I was getting to.
Something is interesting.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is. It is.
Yeah,
I'm just not sure what it is.
I find like things
Yeah.
that like are counterintuitive are naturally I find quite interesting because you can talk about loads of probabilities like lightning strikes 1 in 1,000 or 100,000 or shark attacks 1 in 3.7 million.
Yeah.
But then things that would seem mundane that are completely out of the scope of possibility. So if we had a deck of cards here
Yes.
and you laid every card face up in any order you wanted
Yeah.
on the table, that order of cards would have never ever been seen before in history. Ever. And it doesn't matter how many times you reshuffle the deck, every single time you lay those cards on the table, it will be a brand new order of cards that have never been before seen in history.
That's literally impossible because there is a chance that you will do an order that someone else has already done.
There is, but do you know what that chance is?
Not impossible.
Mr.
Mr. Impossibility.
Basically
everything.
as close as you could possibly get to impossible. 1 in 80 unvigantillion, which is 1 with 87 zeros after it.
That's ridiculous. There's only like
And-
52 cards.
Exactly, that's the point. It's really strange. It doesn't make sense because you've only got 52 cards here. Everybody's played cards. You have them in front of you all the time, and so many people. So every poker player that's ever gone to any casino in the world, the deck of cards that they're dealt is completely originally unique. They'll have never ever been dealt in that order before. That's, I think, pretty interesting. Like,
I
that's,
mean, until you find out it's rigged, isn't it?
yeah, well, yeah. Like, there's There's a
I
really
keep getting aces.
there's a really good. I want to explain. There's a really good explanation. This was on the video that I watched that came on after this.
While he's finding that, I just want to make a shout out that during the fact that you were talking about that, I got a text from a listener.
Oh, did you?
referencing last week how you made a joke about spouses, and in the background I said, I think the plural is spow.
And is the plural spow?
So shout out, we got a text from a
More
listener.
importantly,
Wow.
we have a listener.
Wow, we have. Is it cursed?
Shout out to you, Sam.
You wait till I see cursed.
Yeah, we're going to have a word with Kirsten Dom next time we see him.
So is the plural spout?
No, that's me taking the mick, because you were like, let's say I had spouses, and I think the plural is spow.
Well, you could have gone spouse eye.
I could have.
It's just making me think of Spandau
I'm not
Ballet.
not that
Spandau
cultural.
Ballet.
Not that cultural.
Spandau Ballet.
Yeah, to be fair, you're not cultural. Okay, so let me just give you the explanation, right? So, if you've got 1 in 80 unvigintillion, this is the I couldn't get my head around it, but to be fair, this kind of helps.
Unvigintillion just sounds like someone drunk trying to
sounds
talk about reptiles.
It sounds like it's just been made up.
It's an unvigintillion.
Well, no, because
I would have said like Star Trek, but yeah.
That works too.
once you get past like 4 or 5 of these, like million, billion, trillion, no one cares what the rest are. It's just a huge number.
Yeah,
but this is 80 down the line, so it's bizarrely big. So imagine you set a timer to count down 80 unvigintillion seconds.
I'd rather not.
I mean, I can't imagine that.
Well,
I'm not sure how big how many zeros
firstly, you wouldn't be able to create a timer big enough to have a digital display displaying it. But okay, so you would.
Is this one of those numbers that you couldn't write across the entire?
No. This is pretty amazing. So you set the timer and you stand on the equator.
You can always add zeros.
Every billion years, this is counting down the seconds. Every billion years, you take 1 step forward. When you've circled the Earth once,
Take 2 steps back.
you take 1 drop of water out of the Pacific Ocean, 1 drop,
Man.
and you keep going. Every time you go around, you take 1 drop of water. You're taking 1 step every billion years. Once it's empty, you refill it and complete the whole process 256 times.
Do you refill it a drop at a time?
Yeah, you refill it a drop at a time. When
you're on it.
when the Pacific Ocean is empty, you lay a sheet of paper down on the floor and repeat. Every single time you empty the Pacific Ocean from going around the Earth and refilling it, you lay 1 sheet of paper down. When the sheet of paper can reach the sun, when the sheet of paper can reach the sun, look at the timer, and only 0.8% of the time will have passed.
Oh.
So it's
not that long then, is it?
No, I mean,
dramatic.
I've had train journeys that were longer.
so if a riddle sets a clock in the woods and no one were around to hear it.
No, but
that's how it was set up.
Yeah, basically. To kill the remaining time, shuffle a deck of cards.
Oh, as if we have any time to
Wait. Deal yourself 5 cards every billion years. Every time you get a royal flush, which the odds are cataclysmically high on anyway, you buy a lottery ticket.
Okay.
Every time that lottery ticket wins the jackpot, which is again ridiculous, take a grain of sand and put it in the Grand Canyon. When the Grand Canyon's full, you take 1 ounce of rock from Mount Everest, empty the canyon 1 grain of sand at a time, and carry on. If you do this 48,000 times...
Wait, why do you need the ounce of rock from Mount Everest? And
it's
also,
just,
I can't believe I'm following this crazy riddle.
It's not a riddle. At this point, it's just, for fun, I suppose.
This is like mathematicians going, if this crazy thing happens, it's not crazy enough, let's add another one.
No, it's not that it's crazy enough. It's that it's a way to try and visualize something that's so big.
I've already lost track of the first bit. This number doesn't matter.
Should we go back to... Luke would be at least up to the paper.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay, but...
I'm pretty sure I'll be dead after the first billion.
Yeah, I mean...
But 1 step.
1 step in a billion years.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, so there's some pretty big numbers out there.
Yeah. I mean, you know what else gets pretty big numbers? Netflix originals.
Oh, when you try your best but you don't succeed.
I feel like that's a real intro to every one of my segues.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Gabe, what have you done? What
don't-
have you done with that?
What I absolutely love is every week the grown gets a little bit more desperate.
Oh.
At
You
this
know what
point-
else gets big numbers? Netflix originals. And let me tell you why. That's how you should do it.
Yeah, I think at this point, just make it real
Like,
cheese.
you know those like,
Lean in.
I'm not sure what kind of tens of the 19s it was in, but let's say 1960s. So
Tens of the 90s? That's a bizarre way of talking about
What I love
Texas.
though is that somehow a better segue.
Yeah.
let's say you know, you go on them TV shows with the intro and there's the guy who's like, last week, that's how you should do it. That voice.
Yeah.
That would be classic. You know what else
we've
gets
already-
big numbers?
look,
Netflix.
look,
Netflix originals.
We've already got the
The microphone.
1940s BBC World Service mic. Like,
Chris.
yeah.
Chris
and you know what else? Radio's coming.
I mean, well, it's not like you.
Jerry's on the run. Follow him, boys.
Okay, Netflix originals, I hear they're good. What?
Yeah.
They get big numbers? No way.
What?
So I hear, last week I watched a
Netflix? What's that?
Much as I would love to.
Is that a little tool for the miss at home?
Netflix? Did you say Netflix? Tell me, what is a Netflix?
I did indeed, good sir. It's so hard to keep up.
Is this that new game of lacrosse?
By gum, Jerry, it is not.
By gum.
It is a service for streaming your favorite video.
Okay, let's stop.
Yeah. we had a good run.
Well,
That was a shit.
I think our listeners are going to be calling in.
All three. Yeah, so I wasn't able to watch Insatiable last week because it turns out it is ridiculously controversial and also not available in Europe.
Why is it controversial?
Is that, wait a minute, is the reason it's not available because it's controversial?
I mean, I don't know. Netflix haven't really been saying.
Yeah.
But the controversy behind it is, so I can give you a vague plot synopsis for the series, listeners. Insatiable is meant to be a comedy, the idea being that a young woman, well, girl in school, was like really fat shamed before summer. She had an accident during the summer, which then meant that her mouth had to be like braced shut so that, you know, her jaw couldn't heal up.
Jeez.
And then by being braced shut, she managed to starve herself thin. And now with her
Well,
new
I don't think she managed to. I think she probably just would have, wouldn't she?
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Though.
So anyhow, magically she's somehow thin and beautiful, and turns out everybody loves her now, and she's going to use that rockin' hot bod to get revenge.
That rocking hot pot.
It was something along those lines. It was pretty sleazy.
Wow. Yeah, this does sound a bit on the nose.
So you can understand why there might have been large numbers of the viewership of Netflix being like, hang on a second, a gosh darn rootin' tootin' cowboy second.
Can't Hajal over it.
Yeah.
So,
Alright,
yeah,
Rando.
there was moderate backlash, which meant I think it did get taken off of the US site quite possibly.
But so I'm guessing it wasn't sort of self-aware. It wasn't doing it from the point of view as sort of.
Not from what I could gather, but
It's
also
not. Yeah.
a lot of people working on the show were trying to defend it. I think it was just one of those things where, like, if you were making the show, it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
But if you were watching the show and didn't have much context, you're like, hang on, just a rootin' tootin' cowboy minute.
What do you think, Nick? That paddywhack?
Is that me?
I don't know. I thought this was
Can I get something
with all this
catchier?
rootin' tootin'. I thought this is the new trend we're going now.
I mean, it just sounds like a show, doesn't it? Like,
Solid commentary there.
nah, but it's like, why is that more controversial than anything else?
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't.
Get over it. It's a TV show. It's like you when you're sitting there like, well, aristocrats doesn't logically make sense because cats can't physically talk, can
Hey,
they? It's a cartoon, Dan.
I've never picked on aristocrats.
Crats.
You've picked on aristocrats plenty, Dan.
I might be getting confused.
I think you picked on aristocrats
Hey,
one time
hey,
as well.
No, what was that?
Pinocchio can do one.
Yeah, see, there
I'm
you go.
okay with the aristocrats.
Oh, one boy who's real, not magic, none of that.
No,
You sound like
It's not the
terrifying.
magic he's got beef with.
I'm not. I haven't got a problem with Pinocchio.
Cricket's been alive.
I've got a problem with the weird old man that turned a wooden puppet into a boy and then just threw him out onto the streets with no knowledge of the world and said, "Oh, go and do your own thing."
Right, so this is my point. People like that are the ones hating on this show. It's a cartoon.
No,
Insatiable might not be, but it's still like it's a TV show.
No. But I can get behind a TV show. That's fine. It's a TV show. It's not real. It's fiction. It creates a situation.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's just a thing, isn't it? They're trying to tell a story. Let them tell the story.
Yeah, but
even if it's not a story you like or you don't think is like necessarily correct, it's a story. There are like films about slavery. It's like it doesn't necessarily mean everyone today is like, oh, let's bring that back. It just means it's a film on it.
No. But there is a kind of a difference. Like you look at Django Unchained. Django Unchained's got slavery in it, but it doesn't tell it from a good point of view.
Because it's like a whole revenge. We're going to murder.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like you can have stories about. Yeah, you can have stories about negative things and things that exist, but it depends how the show puts that forward. If it puts it forward as a good tool that she's now, because she's thin, she can achieve all these things, then
it's a revenge story. They've also, what you said was it's a revenge story, so she's also made out to be a bit of a dick.
Yeah, so...
I mean, I'm on your side, because I agree with the show, but I'm just saying, I can understand why people might be aggravated.
Oh no,
I don't think it should be cancelled.
Yeah.
I just can understand.
It's also like, I mean, I get why people are outraged about the rape scene in Game of Thrones. I get why people are upset about that. They're like, don't show that on TV yet. Like, yeah, fair enough, but the show still goes on because that's what that world is like. Like, that's part of that world. And it made you hate Ramsay Bolton more, and everyone cheered when he died. Spoiler alert.
Oh, I was thinking about the Dothraki.
I want to quickly cut that and put that before I just said that.
To be fair, I thought you were referencing the Dothraki rape scene, and then all of a sudden I realised there's probably quite a lot of rape scenes in Game of Thrones. Like,
there's loads of things in there that just aren't great. Like, that's just one of them.
To be fair though, the Dothraki have been doing a good job of promoting women's issues.
Have they? What?
I'm joking.
I'm so confused. Alright, my moon and stars, calm down.
Oh.
But no, I just mean in general, it's like, yeah, it's a TV show, calm down.
Well, but one thing I got away from this was that viewership still matters to Netflix. So if a lot of people say, oh, this show's going to hurt, you know, it's looking like it's hurting the brand.
See, now that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Then that's the reason why we're probably like, oh yeah, well, you know, we might step back on this.
But then
because
for the same...
not every Netflix original is going to be a home run like Stranger Things.
No, but then I kind of disagree with that as well, because if you pull any show that creates a negative backlash, you like limit your creativity.
Yeah, completely.
Like, so like the whole point of an open creative studio is to allow people to explore different avenues, because
I mean, they certainly do that. Otherwise,
you end up with the situation they've got on like sort of American comedy shows, where every single comedy show is exactly the same. Like Kimmel, Colbert.
I was about to say you're talking about Late Show.
Yeah, like Corden. Every single one is identical, and it's like they're completely interchangeable. And the same thing happens with like Netflix and stuff. If you start, maybe not so much, but
no, you can tell a different story. But what he's saying is you have to then tell only PC stories.
Yeah,
and it's like those aren't the only things that you can comment on. Like, I think a good way of putting it is like, what's controversial is like Childish Gambino's "This Is America" song, but it's a bloody good song because he's making a lot of points on life today. And it's like if people like that get upset about that, like take that down, it gets taken down, you can't comment on it anymore.
I think it's more of partly this is probably one of the first times that this has really happened. So Netflix is kind of again taking a step. Again, considering all the stuff they put out, you can't really say they're not getting PC. I think the idea behind this one is perhaps the way the show was handled and the way that again, had I watched it, I could have told you guys, the listeners, but the way maybe the initial episode or two presented the situation, it looked like it might have been glorifying body shaming fat people, which understandably, as a network, which they are, they might have been like, oh yeah, you know what, maybe we should sit down, pull this off for now, have some chats with the creative team and see what lessons can and can't be learned. Because again, every single Netflix original is a bit of an experiment, or a bit of kind of like, yeah, we'll give you money to run with it, then if you get a really high viewership, the show gets renewed.
Yeah,
it's not the viewership though, it's how many people finish the season.
Yeah, but
So
you're,
if
but you're
say
talking
people-
from the business point of view,
Yeah.
and I get that. I get that from the Netflix point of view. I just what we were talking about is I just don't understand the outrage sometimes of these things.
Well, it's a bigger problem, isn't it? Because nowadays, like, so many companies have fallen into the trap of not responding to problems straight away. Like, something's happened, there's some kind of outrage, and a lot of the case justified. But then they've just gone on with it, and it becomes a bigger and bigger thing. And then, like, either companies, people, producers have then like been like caved under, So I can understand why Netflix would instantly react. They did the same thing with, like, White Gold. So the In-Betweeners cast spin-off. They did the first season of White Gold, and then one of the stars in White Gold was accused of assault, and they suspended, semi-cancelled the entire show. And then he was cleared with no charges and found completely innocent. But now,
because of a knee-jerk reaction, it's also tainted the show, the whole production of
yeah,
the show.
well, yeah,
interfered
because
with it.
even I would be kind of like the character he plays in White Gold is a sleazebag. Like, it's his character. And like, when you see that in real life, then it kind of takes him, because even though he's innocent, even I would admit that if I had to think, he's probably the kind of guy that might do that. So you're kind of tainted before, like, you know, you're proven guilty before any kind of trial is...
Guilty before you're proven innocent.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying you shouldn't sort of take action when something's raised. There's a lot of knee-jerk reactions these days to things like this because a company or a star or something doesn't want to be found wanting and doesn't want to come under huge political pressure or public pressure.
I think just chill and have a laugh.
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of the way that I do it. So it's all right. I think the problem is so, like, yeah, there are arguments about, like, oh, this will make this thing look good, this thing will make this look bad. But my kind of opinion is there will always be arseholes who are just arseholes.
Yeah.
And because they see something on TV doesn't change that. I think you'll always have good people who strive not to do that. I don't do, or try not to anyway, be an arse to people and try and have a laugh as much as I can, because you just be a good person. Like, we're all here. Let's all just calm down and have a laugh together.
And you're always going to offend someone. Always going to offend someone. And especially when it comes to any kind of comedy or any kind of comment on some kind of situation. Like, there's always going to be people that are offended by anything. Like, there's probably people out there that are offended by, like, the way people with braces in films are portrayed. And if you've got a character that's got heavy... Like, there's always going to be someone upset with anything. So you can't... But... Especially women... I'm not saying especially because I'm singling it out, but women's issues and like, sort of like, fat shaming is especially, like, kind of prominent, I think, at the moment. Like, there's been a few shows and films recently that had a lot of...
I mean, it's been going since forever.
Yeah, it has, but, like, the last... Like,
Edwardian times is the last time I can remember. We're having a bit of chunk on the trunk was seen as high fashion.
No, I don't necessarily mean as it happening. I mean in terms of, like, there's a lot of sensitivity to it being shown in any kind of film. And as it should, really. People shouldn't fat shame. It's a bad thing, but I don't know. You kind of should tell that story. Ignoring it, I don't think is the issue. The answer, sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's part of what I'm saying. Like, removing the original show that was talked about, I don't think you do any favours by shutting something down, if that is why I actually believe Gabe's right and they've shut it down because it's an image thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, if it is shut down because it's like, oh, there was outrage about this for, you know, this woman lost weight and all of a sudden people like her and that story, then it's kind of like, but just let them tell the story, because then it kind of... It's actually more of a commentary on how false people are.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and then it's more of a dig at all of the people and how they've reacted to her, as opposed to what's happened to this woman in the story.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, well, clearly, you know, these people just like you because you're pretty now, so they're the arseholes.
Exactly. That's exactly, like, I don't see why the story itself should be the problem. It's the fact that the way you cast it. Like, if you've got someone that's gone through that situation, the arseholes that fat shaming her in the first place and that are being duplicitous and being hypocrites are the ones that...
You know what a good way to know this would have been, though?
Wow.
So I could have watched the flipping show.
Yes, indeed.
But I did watch something.
So, is Insatiable a reference to her supposed initial hunger?
I think it might be, and, you know, not to... Well, yeah, completely.
There were air quotes there, just...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
But
or maybe her spirit of revenge, I don't know.
again,
YouTube's never a fan of sensitive topics. This is always good.
No,
For the earlier podcast.
I was just in my head. I was just thinking, have I said anything that's gonna create a flame war?
No, I think I know you, and I know you don't mean any of this to be a dick. I think you guys know that I don't mean any of what I've said to be a dick, and we all try to strive to be good people. We will fuck up now and then, but we strive to be good people.
Also,
so
I am relatively chubby, so.
Alright, I was just going to say, disclaimer to everyone, we do not mean any of the content we produce on this channel to offend.
Oh, I thought you were just going to say we don't mean any of the content. No, it's all a laugh.
I mean, it is all a laugh as well.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Apart
from that got deep.
That did a bit, considering this is the deepest we've got and we didn't get to watch the show.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but it was more like, it was naturally going to spark a controversial topic because it was cancelled.
Exactly, so. Thinking about it, like, it just got that deep with us. So, I think maybe it does make sense. If the three of us sit here and, like, think about it and go...
But people talk this much in depth about Game of Thrones. And that's aside from the controversy that
I was going to say, people talk this in depth about TV shows aimed for 11-year-olds. Have you not seen the Adventure Time Reddits?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true.
So yeah,
I get pretty.
But then that's
caught
what
up on Disney.
That would have made it a success then, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I suppose the byproduct of it is then it is a success if the story's still being told without actually putting the show out.
Yeah.
Because it still raised awareness to the thing.
I mean, I doubt.
In a weird way.
I doubt Netflix is going to suffer for it. But
I think it was an issue of how it was told rather than what it was telling.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've not seen it, so I can't really comment. But yeah.
Just a little shout on Netflix. We could resolve all of this if you let us watch the pilot.
You could always fiddle with your laptop a little bit.
So, quick.
Not going there.
So
do not endorse piracy.
So did the actress then presumably have to lose, like, firstly maybe put on a lot of weight and then lose a lot of weight,
or it was like a bodysuit thing as well, which added, fuel to the flames. It was a thin actress who was basically through makeup made to look fat for the initial, like, I think it was 10 minutes.
Talk about.
Right, back on
track. So yeah, sorry about that, listener.
We need like a little intermission jingo, don't we?
That was it.
That was it.
No, I know, but we should like have that as a like.
We should never have intermissions.
Yeah, like just get like listeners. Go grab yourself a couple of PG tits.
Bringing it back. So you were saying something, Gabe?
I was. Before we got cut off by my rubbish laptop, I was saying about how the main actress from news articles I've read,
wears a fat suit.
Yes. She went through makeup to kind of look that, rather than be a woman who was overweight and then go through basically training to then get back into what's seen as ideal shape.
I like the phrase "went through makeup" like it was some kind of car wash with like artists like standing on either side. She's walking and they're just like throwing stuff at her.
No, have you not seen? It's like a tanning salon. You just stand there and just like rotate.
Have you ever walked through makeup?
Have you ever seen like those really crazy? So like all the actors who go into like Marvel film, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, their makeup is great.
I feel like we could have flowed into EastEnders there.
Yeah. I feel like, I was about to say one of the reasons, but one of the many reasons why I don't think I could make a good Hollywood actor is spending like 10 hours in a makeup booth getting like covered in prosthetic. Like they spend so many hours getting ready for roles. It must just like be pretty soul crushing.
I don't know.
I know you're getting paid a lot of money for it, but I remember there was an interview for
but acting's a laugh.
I think
acting's so much fun.
No, but
you did punch the table like 20 times just now.
Oh, did I? Oh.
Yeah, which for voice acting might be a little.
He's just practicing his karate.
It's my belt. You know what it is? It's my little idea. Like Tom Cruise runs in every film, like Forrest Gump pees in every film, or should I say Tom Hanks?
Forrest Gump in all those sequels.
Tom Hanks pees in every single film. I obviously just tap the table.
In every film. This isn't a film.
And
your life is not a film.
In my head.
You punch it like it's a flipping, one-hit knockout. What you do.
Well,
Told you he's got a brown belt to think about.
Yeah, I suppose.
But yes, so fat suits, they've been done before
That's
with
true.
less controversy. I'm thinking of the guy from Anchorman, the Steve Carell, is that his name? Who's in The Office, the US one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in a show before where he was wearing like a fat suit and then worked out, got thinner, and then he like got a girl.
But he worked out, and I think that was.
Wait. He was in a fat suit, but he worked out. You mean he worked out in the film?
Yeah, like in the film, he
Yeah.
worked out like he was in a fat, like yeah.
The actor.
So it's like imagine Rocky Balboa montage, but Steve Carell in a fat suit, like working out, and then they've like doused him in water to make it look like he's sweaty.
It's different. It's different rules for guys. It is different rules for guys because guys take. Well, I don't like the fact it's different rules, but guys just don't. You can't. Okay.
Be careful, then.
Yeah, I was about to use an example that's pretty controversial. Okay. This is true. You might not like the fact it's controversial, but people take the mick out of like male abuse as more.
Oh,
like,
as in women being men.
Like whereas the other way around, obviously, it's not. The same thing kind of applies to men in the same situation. It's a funny situation to people rather than a serious situation. Like a man can be fat and then thin and fat, and they don't look at it as a bigger commentary on something.
Well, another point is, when was this film made and released?
Yeah,
It was a film.
You
It might have been the 40-year-old version.
You were talking about angle. I was thinking of Shallow Hal. Like you think about Shallow Hal, like that's a pretty. There's not a lot. Like if that was released now, that would probably create.
But also
quite
to kind of like backpedal a little bit, when you said worked out, in one of the articles I read, I think that was another thing that people took a bit of issue with. She didn't have the agency and then choose to, run, work out, get in shape, have a bunch of other benefits to it.
Yeah.
She basically had an accident, got her jaw wired shut, and then just magic.
So it was an eating disorder, essentially. Yeah. What a forced eating disorder.
Well, it's a medical condition.
Yeah, I suppose. It's like a big.
I get what you mean though. Like, if you make something super sacred and sacrosanct, then also you put it on a pedestal above everything else, saying, "Oh, I can't laugh at this."
Yeah, I feel like either all of it's okay or none of it's okay.
Yeah,
I choose to sort of err on the side of I'm a really thin guy. If people call me a twig or like lanky and stuff like that, it's like I will choose to laugh at that and find it funny. Be like, yeah, that is what I am, and that I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Or that's the kind of way that I do it.
It's a big conversation, isn't it? Because if you look at like comedians that take the mick out of like taboo subjects, because the things that are on the edge of society are usually the funniest. Like comedians like, I don't know, Frankie Boyle, who like...
I was thinking of him when you said
it. Because he's someone that always takes the mick out of like heavy depression, pedophilia. Like he goes after really horrific things in society sometimes that people try to make them funny. Well, if you don't have him, if those things are all banned and you limit free speech, then you have to accept that your liberties are curtailed. So you choose, do you have a society where you can say what you want, but if you say something that's like violence inducing or racially hate-worthy, then maybe action can be taken. But you can't ever draw a line, because that line is always fluid.
I think it's such a weird thing with film though in general, and this is like a weird point, just tangential I suppose. Yeah. But so like one of the
nice pull out of the vocab there.
Oh yeah, you know me. I live to surprise.
And as you say, and you're not cultural.
So that, like, I actually think this was told to me by one of the viewers. Shout out to you. So there was one of the earlier cinemas. People they put on the screen a train coming toward the screen. People in the cinema got so scared that they actually thought it was happening that they all screamed and run out.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, well, look at where we are now compared to that point. And it's like back in the day, Jaws was terrifying for people. I'm sure it still is for people with a phobia of sharks. But
Jaws is a scary film.
But you say that, like people who were like our age who watched it back in the day were probably genuinely terrified of it. Whereas we watch it and we're kind of like, no, this is all right. And you sort of it kind of does, like after a while, it does get to a point where it's kind of like, well, in 10 years, will we look back at this and be like, well, why were people so offended? Like, I don't know.
No,
I know it's difficult to make that stretch.
No, I don't. I agree. I see what you're saying, but it's not. Jaws was a film, like it's a narrative, but something like fat shaming is a existential thing within our society.
That's still a fictional story.
It is, but it's not a fictional situation. I'm sure there are thousands of people that go through similar situations like every year.
Oh yeah,
But that's what I mean.
know some.
But whereas, yeah, exactly. So whereas like films change and you look back at them and desensitized or whatever, the situation it describes doesn't. Like racism is probably always going to be around. There's always going to be hatred in certain situations. There's always going to be people that are overweight or underweight or suffer eating disorders.
Do you really think it will always be around?
Racism or just
like a lot of things like that in general. Like, do you really think it will always survive?
To some degree, yeah. To some degree, there'll always be something that exists to divide certain groups of people from other groups of people, and certain people will always exploit certain characteristics of other people.
I think the kid approach that I always used to have, like when I was younger, would always be like, look, when aliens invade us, that's when we all unify. I feel like it would take something like that, but then even that becomes racism because then you're unified against an alien race.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of like, I get what you're saying, like it kind of always does.
Game of Thrones.
Continue.
Game of Thrones. People can't even unite to fight like another worldly force that's invading them.
Yeah, another race.
Exactly.
It's still kind of racism in like a stretch because they're a different group of people.
And if you go into the law, they're the ones that are supposedly protecting themselves against the people. So
I would have just put it as a simple, as long as there isn't us. Unless you're really good at logistics, there will be a them.
There's a really good quote about this. Like, well, give me a person or something, he'll do something. Give me 2 people, they'll be a partnership. Give you 3 people, they'll create a society. Give you 4 people,
there'll be a crowd.
They'll be a... They'll create war.
I know I missed it, but I had to segue in.
Like, but you give like that fourth. Well, the fourth person doesn't create war.
Unless
his name's Leroy. In that case,
Dan is proper on it with his like little parables today. If you take a grain of dust and give it to 4 men, his name's going to be Leroy. Does it?
What? Stretch Armstrong over here trying to link the points together.
Wow. No, but it's true. There's bigger point. Like human psychology is never going to change particularly. Not in our lifetime.
I think in general the rule is to try and live life by just, don't be a dick.
Yeah, like your scope changes. I agree. Like there is hope, guys. Let's bring this mode. Like there is hope. Like things do improve. Like but we are ultimately still the same. They do. We are still the same chimps we were like a few million years ago.
That is a lie.
What? Oh, okay, all right. You want to be? We're not.
Gabe is a devout
we're not
Christian.
ants. We're not. Let me just.
I've been outed.
Let me just lay out. We're not actually technically related to chimps. They're like cousins.
Aren't we like proper similar in the DNA to a banana?
This is true.
Not that similar.
No, look it up. Look at the percentage similarity to us and a banana.
I think it's like 50%.
No, look it up, mate. It's not. We ain't
No,
flipping
98.
No
98's chimpanzees.
All right. Well, you'll hear a little tapping on the keyboard.
Clickety, 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 clickety.
Woo woo.
This is research live.
No, I'll probably give it.
How
genetic really are we? Oh God. I've got to actually go into.
This is
go
what
into a
happens
link.
when you don't know how to Google search.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
They're not just going to give me the answer.
Recipe for potassium.
Well, okay. I'll give you. Chimpanzees 96. Chicken 60, banana more than 60, slightly. So
okay, so 99 for a banana because that's more than 60.
But
is Dan fudging the evidence?
No, it says more than 60. It does say more than 60.
But yeah, but the thing you got to think about is it's not. It doesn't matter how identical we are to them. You're thinking about it in the wrong way.
I know. I'm just saying the thing. That sounded cool when I read it.
No. But it is cool.
No, why are you telling me it's not cool, Dan? Why are you being?
I'm saying it is cool.
Dan, I'm just really upset with your attitude right now.
Go eat one of your cousins.
Go eat one of your cousins.
You really hurt me. Got potassium.
You've got to watch out. PG Tits is hot with the bags. Scolded over here.
Get off my bags.
Yeah, what you're saying is focus on the difference.
Well, not even just the difference, it's the way it's arranged. So you can have all of the same stuff as something else. But yeah, as you say, the way it's arranged makes a huge difference to the way it is. Yeah.
So to do focus on the difference then, Daniel?
Yeah.
Well, no.
I thought you were going to say something else.
I just want to act like I'm disagreeing with you for
no
good reason.
No, but yes.
I bet there was a little moment there where you felt like you sounded exactly like your daughters. No.
Yeah. It is hard, actually. Becoming a parent, you do get into a habit of just like
It just is.
No, you have to.
Asking me why.
Because
you're not there yet,
society tells me that I now need to be an authority.
Have you told them any dad lies?
Ooh.
There are always dad lies that are told, and you know that they're going to go to school, say them to their mates, and then their mates can be like, "No, that definitely isn't a thing," and they can look like idiots. But it's well funny because you're the dad, so you kind of have to do it. It's
not
like
yet, but they are coming.
Father.
They are coming.
Did you ever?
First thing, I'm going to invent another letter of the alphabet.
We're starting out strong. That's a high bar.
I'm gonna teach them there are 26 letters in the alphabet. 27 letters in the alphabet. No, Dad!
So you've taught them the standard 25 so far.
How
about we make a 26 one? I don't know, Z.
I've just realised my dad screwed me up.
Revelation.
No, but I feel like I can pinch one of the Russian ones. They've got 28, so I'll pinch one of them and add it in just randomly.
Are you sure they've got 28 now? When did you ask out?
The acrylic alphabet's got 28.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's some really good ones you can play.
Yeah. What else you got lined up?
I'm going to teach them it's port and starboard, and when you're on a boat, it's left and right.
I feel like those are all going quite low key. You should teach them that, the world actually did used to be black and white. Hence, that's why photos are black and white. It's just, the chemicals in paint is why the paintings turn colour.
And when he says the chemicals in paint, he means the Microsoft application.
Yeah. Mind blown.
Bill Gates, right, he invented colour. And then he painted the world.
Teach him that.
That's why the Windows logo's got 4 colours.
That's why we have Windows now. It's to celebrate him. Before we didn't have it, and it was dark inside.
Yeah, before we didn't even have light.
The dark ages. Damn, if you're going to do it, go big. I mean, don't ignore the fact that they already know how to use Google better than any of us do.
Yeah.
When your kids can have
the combination of noises that just come out of his mouth. Yes.
That was proper Looney Tunes.
That's all, folks.
What have we devolved into?
Oh no, this is great. Keep brainstorming. I'm loving this.
What?
Tell me some more things.
Tell the kids. I don't know.
Things to lie to your children about. A podcast guide.
Because I don't want to be hard. I don't want to create a situation where they're going to be idiots or look.
I mean,
but like,
you clearly do.
Yeah, no. If you don't want that, just teach them there's 26 letters in the alphabet.
I'll just add one on and make it 20.
Oh, it's fine until they get to secondary school. That's when the real friendships get made.
One of the classics is wind changes, your face will stay the same. That's a classic.
Oh, okay. That's a really good one. But I've got this isn't someone that someone told me. I actually kind of believed this until.
You tell us one you believe as a kid. I'll do one.
Okay.
You go.
Yeah.
I think I'll trump all.
Okay, no, you go first.
I'll go first. Okay. So when I was a kid, no one told me this, but I always wanted to be a policeman because I believed genuinely as a child that they had superpowers and they were given them when you joined the police force.
I could see that.
And I was like, that must be why they keep us protected because they are superheroes.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to be a policeman up until I was about 10. And I was like, the filth, I smell bacon.
Especially if
get the pigs out of here. Woo woo is the sound of the po-po.
Especially if you're upbringing in Clacton.
So, no, don't put that on the internet. I'm away.
He's horizontal right now in shame. Horizontal with shame.
I can imagine your dad being like, "Oh, he'll learn."
Yeah. Have you seen that video of like the dad with his kid? He's going through one of those picture books. And it's got like sheep and ducks, and he's like, "What does the sheep say?" And the kid's like, "Bad." And he's like, "What does the pig say?" And the kid's like, "Oink." And he's like, "No, he doesn't." He says, "Get your hands on the ground."
That's really good. That's really good. I have thought about just like changing the names of animals around and telling them this, but then I thought that's pretty harsh because if they get to school and they can't, they're calling the duck a pig. That's a bit harsh.
It's
No, it just means they get like mugged off once as a kid. Teaches them a bit of humility.
Yeah. If social services are listening, I'm only half joking.
He knows there were 26 letters, alright, so back off. Or he'll give you the F word. Dan, you know F's a letter, that's not the one you're missing, is it?
Is that
Right, so what did you believe as a kid?
What was the lie that you thought was true?
It's not. It wasn't a lie that I thought was true. It's something that I thought must be the case. So,
that's
like
what
region.
We call...
No, but no one told me. No one told me.
Same
So
situation.
I didn't understand accents. I used to get really confused as to why people would sound different in different areas. It didn't make sense to me. Why would people in Liverpool sound like Liverpudlians and Geordies only live 100 miles away? Why? In my head, I thought, well, it must be about like how high they are in latitude. So in my head, I was like, well,
the further you are from the sea,
no,
the weirder
not
your
the
voice
further,
gets.
the higher you are from sea level.
Oh.
So in my head, as little nerdy 10-year-old me or whatever, I thought, oh, it must be like concentration of atoms in the air affects your...
At 10!
You
At
were
10!
only 10-year-old.
At 10! What?
I don't know how old... I'm going to be honest.
Atoms.
I kind of believed this until I was at least at uni. I did.
Oh
Well,
my
'cause
God.
I'd never come across an answer to it. I remember
Oh,
Googling it when I was
no.
like 15 or whatever, and I couldn't find an answer online.
Can you imagine
And,
all the kids with accents that Dan met? It's like, oh, how high up are you right now?
No,
And then just
but
be like,
that's
what?
the thing that
And then Dan was like so high because he'd just gone to uni.
But that's the thing, and then so I was
This
like,
guy over here is a safe cracker.
to be fair, my answer
Bring
wasn't
it
that
back.
covered because I couldn't really explain when people moved how they still maintain their accent. So it just didn't make sense. I couldn't figure out why people sounded.
The
It
mystery.
didn't make sense. And then when you pick up on accents, how did that work? I just didn't get it. That's pretty fair. I mean, do you know why people have different accents?
I don't know, I guess they just speak different, don't they?
No, it's the air concentration.
It's the atoms. Right, what about you?
Alright, my one might be a little bit more tame, but I was legitimately lied to by my whole family. They were all in on it somehow. So, like, when I was younger, we used to get takeaway on Saturday, right?
Mm.
You know, kebabs, pizza, that kind of thing.
Did you watch Saturday Night Takeaway while you were having your takeaway?
Oh,
I
Bantam
did.
Deck.
Bantam Deck. You mean drink driving Bantam Deck?
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel a bit bad about myself for that.
Wow.
Hold on. Go on, Gabe, what
But
was
yeah, so we get it in, and at the time I didn't know what doner meat was. Because, you know, I was like, oh, lamb, that comes from a sheep, but it also looks like lamb chops in. So, you know, one night I was like, well, what actually is doner? What's this meat?
Oh, did they tell you it was someone called Donna?
No,
Oh.
my family, without even missing a beat, and everyone was in on it, and somehow my younger brother played along as well. He was like 6 years younger than me at the time. Maybe he believed the lie too. They told me it comes from Turkey, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But from a giant doner worm in Turkey, that's why in the you know, takeaway places,
A doner
it's
worm.
that big segment. That's a chunk of the kebab worm, you know. And we're getting in danger now because so many people have takeaways, right? So we're going to have takeaway a little bit less now, Gabe. You know, running out of doner meat's getting expensive.
Oh, well
getting
played.
pricey.
Well played, that. You know,
Did
less
they-
takeaways, less shelling out for your munch.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Boom.
poor Donna worms.
And yeah, legit. I was like, wait, really? And I turned to the other people, really? Is this true? I'm like, yeah, God, didn't you know?
And how old were you when you discovered that your family had been duplicitously lying?
I mean, that was 3 months down the line.
Oh, okay. It wasn't like years.
No.
Okay.
It was a little while, and I was like, wait, hang on a second.
But for a while, you thought there were Donna worms.
For a while, and then I was at secondary school at the time, you know, like year 8, and I was like, right, guys, so what are doner worms real? And they're like, the hell is wrong with you?
See, this is the moment that you have. All kids have had this where they thought something was true that's not. That reminds me of one, speaking of animals in general.
Yeah.
So my two brothers, arseholes, pair of them,
Oh, so I thought that was going to be like the start of a film. My two brothers, great film. That.
they convinced me that in a previous life we were mice and we were still a family. And that I was the eldest because in the life before that I behaved the best. So that meant you got to be the eldest for some reason. And then in that life when we were mice, I ate all the cheese. So I had to come back as the youngest.
Because you were an idiot.
Because I ate everyone's cheese. And for years I felt bad I was like, oh, everyone's cheese. Like, that's why I'm the young one now. I was like, so, and then it was like, Dad was like the really nice one because he was the oldest, so it was like he would have.
Was he not the dad mouse in the preview?
No, I would have been the dad mouse because I was the oldest. I was a kid. I was like 5, 6. I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, oh, I was dad mouse.
Some pretty messed up interbreeding going on.
All right, Dan. Fucking 25 letters of the alphabet over there.
But all I'm saying is, technically,
you've heard
technically,
of white lies. These are little white lies.
That's what I was convinced as a child. You can't blame me for that.
I'm not blaming you for that.
I wanted to believe in reincarnation, that we were mice, and
Well,
I
yeah,
was
I mean,
like, well, fair play. If I ate all the cheese, punish me.
Technically, you can't disprove it. It could have happened.
You're not wrong.
Probably not right.
Yeah.
That's pretty harsh. Yeah, I'd be annoyed at
Are
him
you even
too.
into that cheese now?
I do like a bit of chease.
Well, that kind of ties in.
I like good crackers and I like good cheese.
cheese.
Oh, that means I'm going to be the youngest in the next life as well.
Well, only if you're eating all
the
the cheese.
cheese.
I suppose it only applies to mice.
I don't know. We stop. But if you keep gunning after that cheddar.
Yeah.
Alright, you safe cracker.
Wow.
Gunning after that cheddar.
Yeah. I thought I saw a little through line then.
Nine.
I was wrong. I was very wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not even sure what we spoke about today.
Well, I think
I just had a realisation that a lot happened and I can't remember most of it.
Dan made some scraping noises with his cup just now.
Yeah.
I catched that audio.
No, I was just kind of thinking, like, because obviously the things that you tell people in society, like Santa Claus,
He's running out of options.
Easter Bunny, like, no, but a lot of the religious affiliated, like, kind of like societal lies.
You know, the cult of the Turk worm.
Was it the Turk worm or the Donner worm?
Oh, I just made that one up on the spot.
Okay.
It was the kebab worm.
The kebab one.
Yeah, somehow that didn't plug.
Yeah. Yeah, thinking about it.
Although, could you imagine, right? Giant worms.
I can.
I don't know, I'd be put off at Donald.
I've seen.
It's like Dune, but real.
I was just gonna say I've seen Dune, but but I doubt they'd be too tasty.
Well, you know.
Well, if they taste the same as what Donna tastes like now,
that would be pretty late.
Again.
then they would be.
Oh, Dan,
how old are you?
No, okay, look. So
I might have to walk out after that.
I've had obviously quite a number of kebabs in my life, but I remember vividly when I'm being 20 years old or so, walking back on a night out and watching a kebab van unload like a load of those meat racks, and the guy dropped one of them, and the pole hit, and a load of crap stuff came off. He just picks it up and carried it. As I'm walking past, it was covered in like maggots and like rank.
But it adds flavour.
No, it doesn't. It adds medical problems. That's what it adds.
I don't know what Donner worms you've seen delivered, but obviously those are not the choicest prime cuts.
You missed the hit. You could have said, I don't know what you've heard.
Oh, like...
Just saying, but you know,
yeah.
That's why you should walk out. That was prime pun.
I just got sleuthed.
That was pretty boss. Yeah, I don't know. What are you going to do?
Well,
think about it some more.
I guess I will, and I'll watch an actual Netflix original next week.
Oh yeah, I haven't got a lappage, so you're in charge of Netty Flicko Danage.
Alright.
I mean,
this week's been pretty intense. We've covered some topics, haven't we?
I mean, I was going to talk
I
about...
can't remember.
I was going to talk about...
Oh, one of them. Don't be a dick. That's a topic.
That's always a good topic.
This is true.
I'll try my best.
You said that like, I'll try my best, but I'm naturally going to fail.
Wait, not what I'm saying.
I'm not sure whether or not we covered do or don't lie to kids. It was kind of ambiguous.
No, well, Dan do lie to kids because he's got to teach them that there's 25 letters in the alphabet at one point.
No, I think the plan is not to teach them that there are 25, to teach them that there are more than 26. That would be the because then they don't.
And can they find the hidden ones?
Yeah.
Make it a treasure hunt.
Boom.
People for years have been searching for the last 2 lost letters, and we can't use them until we find them.
Yeah, it's like the Ark of the Covenant.
I believe you two were chosen for this.
Quick thing. I just remember when I was a kid. I'm sure you guys would sympathise, and a lot of people would. I genuinely believed when I was a kid that I was a Jedi.
Do you mean you had the moments where you'd sit there staring at stuff, like straining your hand, like I can move it? Yeah. I still do it now.
Yeah, I do occasionally.
Like you're just kind of like, but what if that one time it just works, and you're like, I fucking knew it.
Exactly.
5-year-old me knew it.
Exactly.
And 24-year-old me's gonna live on this.
Even just one day it'll work. Like something will just happen. Like some barrier in your head will just go down.
I'll tell you what will happen. You'll put your hand up and pretend to do it. Something breeze gets a little bit too strong, knocks something over. You genuinely believe it. Try and stop a car.
I managed to move that car. Next step, flying. Natural course. That's why no one ever comes out. That's why no one ever figures it out. They go reach too far. The reality is though that when you think you've done it, you've probably just had a mental breakdown.
Well, the whole point of being a Jedi is to feel and not think.
To feel.
Oh.
Wait a minute, you're teaching us a new way.
Feel the things. I never thought about that. He's right.
I'm gonna have to
feel everything.
I'm gonna have to go home and think on this.
You nut.
Gabe, have you watched Peaky Blinders?
Yes.
I've not.
I mean, Gabe, or you answer it?
No, because I really want to see Gabe watching Peaky Blinders.
You want to watch Gabe watch it?
Okay, I'd rather, let me rephrase that.
That's a bit
I'd like to hear Gabe's report back on Peaky Blinders.
There we go. I mean, I was going to talk about a few shows today, but I suppose we can put that.
I've seen the first season of Peaky Blinders. I think you would really like it. Me and Luke are going to have to endure a few weeks of.
It's about horses in Birmingham, isn't it?
What?
Peaky Blinders? Is that what it's about? Not horses in Birmingham?
No, it's like gangs in Birmingham. It's basically like The Sopranos, but in Birmingham in the 1920s.
Something to do with horses, though, right? Like racetracks.
Stop spoiling it for me, guys.
I'm sure there's some horses in
I've never seen it.
But he's gonna, next week he's gonna be like, oh, the crims and like. he's gonna be coming out with like Birmingham.
There was this guy who was like swadoosh,
yeah,
and then his cousin, Mr. I don't know man.
This guy comes in. This guy comes in.
I had the hand.
It's like a window into the future.
He's gonna be like the guy's coming with his massive braces.
We never used to have windows.
No, we didn't.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Learn yourself, son.
Thank God for paint. All right.
Yeah. Thank God for colour.
Although
saying that, he obviously probably did create then racism.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how.
And that is the podcast. So what are you there? You going with Peaky Blinders?
I think Peaky Blinders. I think that's a solid choice.
So next week I'll review Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders.
I'll review Peaky
Blinders.
You get those blinders out and we peak.
I'll
Tommy
watch Peaky
Peterson.
Blinders for next week.
Yeah. I'm trying. Who's the main actor in it?
He's the guy who plays Scarecrow in the first Batman.
Yeah, not James McAvoy.
No, definitely not James McAvoy.
No, he's Charles Xavier.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, it is Cillian Murphy, isn't it? Yeah.
Click.
Cillian, what a name, Cillian. Yeah, and Tom Hardy's in it too. Yeah.
Oh.
We should watch it together.
Why?
Tom Hardy's in it, and you'll like.
I do like Tom Hardy, but
guess who else? Sam Neill from Jurassic Park.
Oh, he's not a bad guy either.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. You know him, do you?
Yeah, if I recognise a face, I'm kind of like, hey, he's all right. I mean, I don't actually know him as a bloke, so I can't really comment. So allegedly, he's a good guy.
I can't imagine.
Nice disclaimer about him.
I can't imagine Sam Neill with a Birmingham accent. No.
I thought you said you'd seen it, or you not?
Yeah, no, I've seen the first season, but not every episode.
I don't know why it's What? I've seen the first season, not every episode, not a full episode. I saw a clip on YouTube once.
I might have fallen asleep in some of the episodes.
So you saw a clip on YouTube and then decided to say you've seen the first season.
No, I
watched the trailer. I've seen season 1 now.
That's how it works, right?
I read the synopsis.
If that were the case, I've seen every show ever.
Have you?
the case.
Them Peaker Blinders.
I've seen Peaker Blinders. Let me tell you, Sonny.
I love the fact that the second
Is it
search
next week
was-
already?
the second search is, what does it mean to be peaky?
Ill.
Like ill.
You're looking a bit.
Ill bars, son. Ill bars.
Dan may have thrown up a gang sign as he said that.
I think on that note we're going to gang sign.
Yeah, I'm looking a bit peaky now.
I didn't go with that one. Right.
Hey, I've been Gabe.
I've been Dan.
I'm Luke. Bin
Take-
Luke.
Don't tell
I
lies.
said it wrong.
Luke's in the bin.
Ghetto superstar.